I'm having way too much fun with EAWRC right now. Specifically with the career mode of all things. Yes, I'm actually enjoying playing single player in a racing game for a change. That's such a breath of fresh air, I have to say. Because if I look back on all the different racing games I played over the past couple of years, none really kept my interest in the single player aspect. Because, well, most of them just put some random events together, call it a single player career, but there is no through line, no story. It just feels soulless. And that seems very different here in EAWRC. So, welcome back to HD Racing, to summer rally driving. And, well, this career is not about just random events, it's about you as a racing driver who's trying to compete and be good in the WRC. So that could be the top of the line WRC, WRC2, or in my case I chose the Junior WRC because I feel like I'm still quite new and I want to learn and take things slowly here. But the cool thing about the career is that it's not only about that championship, it's about, as I said, you as a racing driver, and it's about building a team, participating in all kinds of different events with all kinds of different cars, and, well, building a reputation, building a team, and, well, getting the money to actually compete in the top of the line championship for you, which is the WRC. But there's a whole bunch of different things, and so far I really enjoyed this. I've played this for like 2-3 hours, I think, and I kind of want to take you along and show you some of the highlights of my first series here. And you're joining me right now for our test drive of the car that we will be driving in the Junior WRC. And this is the Ford Fiesta Rally 3 Evo. So the newest 2024 version that is actually driving in the Junior WRC. And, well, I thought, okay, we're test driving this car, so we're gonna drive it a lot now. But that's actually not the case. It might be later on, but in the beginning you'll see we can do all kinds of different things. But first of all, we get to choose our difficulty and settings for our career mode. I decided to go for 75 AI performance. Not quite sure if that's correct. We can change that later, but we're gonna start there. Gonna set the event scale to long, so we actually have some cool long events, and set the restarts to 1, so we can restart 1 stage in an event. That might be a little bit, well, not enough for my current skill level, but I want the challenge. If not for the AI, then at least for me trying to survive going through these stages, and that's gonna be the biggest challenge for me, as you'll be able to see. But yeah, here we are in the main screen in the career mode, and you'll see here in the benefactor tab, that's basically our sponsor, or, well, someone who gives us money to actually go into the Junior WRC, and this sponsor has some, well, goals for us to work towards. That's both staying in budget, both for getting cars, our team, our repairs, and also some other things that basically the sponsor wants us to do, so we will get some extra benefits for that. And then there's a whole bunch of things with staff, with your engineer, which you can level up and get some perks and like different team members you can hire later on. But it starts off very simple actually. But it starts off with choice, and that's something that I find really cool here. It's always, you're looking at a week always, and you get to choose to do one thing that week, because you can't be everywhere at once, and there are different events going on, like in real life. So we have different choices here, what we could do, because that is helpful for our benefactor, our sponsor. We are gonna do this Peugeot Hospitality Rally, and for that we will need a car, but luckily for this event it's loaned to us. We will have to pay repair bills. It also warns us here that we will have to do that, but at least we don't have to buy the car. As you can see, we don't have any engineers at the moment. We will be able to hire those later, but for now we just have our chief engineer. And well, for this first event I didn't really know what to expect, because as I said, I was going into this expecting, well, something along the lines of what we usually have in games nowadays, which is just some events with some cars like strung together kind of randomly. But this is very different. And as I said, I really, really enjoyed my time so far. And yeah, so our ultimate goal is to compete in the FIA Junior WRC with our Ford Fiesta. But to get there, well, we will need to also do some other things on the side. And well, this is the first. And we are in this funny little Peugeot 309. And well, we are here in our first shakedown. This is, if you're not familiar with rally driving, always something you can do. So drive the first part of the stage just with no timing, just to get a feel for the car. If you maybe want to do some setup changes and get to grips with, well, what's going to come during this rally event with all the different stages that you're in. And since I did choose the long format for events, we are gonna have 5 stages in this rally event. And by the way, if you can maybe see, I did change camera perspective a little bit and also adjusted the seat, something you can do, which is quite nice. And I removed the steering wheel here because I have a steering wheel in front of me when I'm playing. If that's something that bothers you, if that's something that you want to see, then maybe I can put that back in. You have to let me know in the comments. I could also maybe just put up a camera to just have my actual real-life wheel and put that in the video somehow. That could also be something I could do. As I said, let me know if that's something that would be beneficial to you. I know not seeing what my steering wheel is doing here might be, yeah, it might be more interesting to have that. So I totally understand. So let me know if I should change that up for the next episodes of this. But you can see here, not the fastest car. I mean, it's in the H2, which is the historic class, and it's front-wheel drive, so quite tame. And we are this time in an asphalt rally, so it behaves kind of nicely, and it's not super difficult is what I'm trying to say here. And this shakedown felt actually kind of good. I will probably later on also fiddle with setups, but for this first one I decided to just leave that and, well, just focus on trying to drive better. Because yeah, it's definitely, I have done rally driving before, as I said in the last video, but I haven't done much. So and I also haven't done it in quite a while, and I was never really good at it. So I kind of want to improve, and I think this career is really giving me the motivation right now to actually do that. And well, we're starting now our actual well, the full stage for our first one here. And well, let's see what we can do. I, by the way, was thinking about doing a live record, so talking while I was driving, but I very quickly saw that I couldn't do that with listening to the co-driver calls and driving and then talking at the same time. It was just too much, so I'm doing a post-commentary here. And this is also a good benefit. I can also cut ahead then, because you already saw the first part of the stage, so we did jump ahead to, well, the later part of it, and you can see it gets quite different, a lot more narrow and twisty with some sharper corners, hairpins, and going up the hill here. And with a car like this, which doesn't have that much power, it was actually a little bit challenging to, well, get it up the hill fast here. You can see on the left side, I did leave that in, where I am at compared to the class leader. That doesn't mean that if we're ahead right now, that we will be ahead at the end of the stage, but it's a good indication. It's not something that I'm looking at all that much while actually driving, because it is quite distracting. So I was debating of just leaving that out, but I think just for the video, it's quite nice to have that in. But yeah, I'm not looking there all that much. If you're not familiar with rally driving all that much, I did talk a little bit about that in the last video. The co-driver calls, you can set those to simplified, but I chose to take the actual ones. And that means I get a lot of information, but sometimes it's a little bit too much. So you will sometimes see me struggle, even though the co-driver is really calling out quite nicely what's coming up. Sometimes I'm just with both concentrating on driving and sometimes having some struggles there, and then also listening and putting that into my head, what's coming up next. It's a challenge. It's definitely a learning curve, and that is what I really like about rally driving. It's definitely quite a lot different to circuit racing, where if you learn the track, you know it, and apart from changing conditions from the asphalt or weather conditions or something, you know what your car will be doing and you know where you need to go. Here, if you're not listening closely, then, well, you might fall off a cliff. So you can see sometimes that's definitely an option here, and that's what makes rally super interesting to me and quite a lot different to circuit racing. So we managed to get through our first stage here, and quite nicely, I have to say. And I was feeling kind of good after this one, I have to say. And if we take a look at the standings, we will see that I actually managed to eke out a win here, and by quite a margin. That doesn't mean that this will continue like this, because the stages will get more difficult as we move on here, because next one, as you can see, is already a stage that we are driving at night. And even though that seems like a small change, it really makes a lot of difference when you're driving a rally, because, well, you already have a difficult time of seeing where you're going, and it just being dark makes it even more difficult. But as long as your lights work, if you don't destroy those, because you can, you definitely have enough visibility to see where the track actually is, or the road. It's not really a track, is it? Still used to things from, well, circuit racing. And, well, this is one thing that you could see. This happens. I mean, I think the co-driver called out, don't cut, but in the heat of things, I didn't listen, or at least I didn't put that into my head that maybe there is an obstacle there. And that obstacle was really well hidden, I feel like. And this barrier was super stiff, and you can already see the front of the car being a little bit damaged right now. I mean, the car is luckily still going, we weren't all too fast, and I also didn't set damage to, like, is it called hardcore, I think? You can set the settings for your career to have more severe damage. I decided to not do that for my first one, so we can still go with this, and we probably still, even with more damage on, we probably still would be going, but there is damage to the car, definitely. And once again here I make a mistake and almost hit a tree. That was mainly just being a little bit too fast and the car understeering heavily. I mean, it's a front wheel drive and we are driving on tarmac. This would be quite a lot different if we were on a loose surface like gravel, but we're not. For this first one, this is a complete tarmac rally, and you can see once again here, understeer, you really need to be careful. And I was still getting to grips with well, driving this car on this rally stage, and yeah, once again braking a little bit too late, or maybe even not hard enough, or well, I don't think I was locking up. I'm using ABS at the lowest setting. I didn't want to turn it off completely, but I did turn off all the other assists, so no stability control, no traction control, no there are some other assists. I turned all of those off, but I'm using the ABS at 1 out of 5, so that I have a little bit of a safety net when it comes to braking, because yeah, I just felt like that would be a good idea. And you can see once again, this stage really wasn't mine, so a lot of mistakes. I mean, those compound as well, of course, because if you have damage, then the car will behave worse, and I really felt that. So yeah, in the end, a lot of mistakes in this one, and that did cost me quite a bit. For this last section, it's still okay, and my front, is it called bonnet? Well, you can see it flapping. It's still on for now, but the car definitely is not in good shape. But luckily we will have a service area after this stage. And that's another concept in rally driving. You will not be able to repair the car after every stage, but only when there is a service area. Luckily there is one coming up, and we will have to make use of that, because I did damage the car quite a bit in this stage. Well, the first one did go quite well. This one, I really felt that my earlier mistake cost me. You can see here, time-wise we are still doing okay, with 6 seconds behind the leader. And overall we are still ahead and leading this championship or this event. But yeah, we will now have to do some repairs on the car. And that is once again a system which I find super nice in rally. Because, well, the next rally stage is gonna be at some point, and you don't have unlimited time to fix your car. So most of the time you will have a set time here that you have to put all the repairs in that you can, and you will have options here. You can completely replace a part, you can just do a quick fix or a standard repair. And as you can see here, if you go over the time that's allocated for this repair session, the time that you will go over will be deducted from your next stage. So you basically start late if you do too much repairing or use too much time there. So I was swapping around here a little bit to find like an optimal way to repair what I felt like was necessary. And yeah, I decided to go for doing the radiator the most, and decided to also replace the lights, because I didn't know if we would have another night stage, so I didn't want to have damaged lights and then not see anything. And well, I don't know if this was optimal. You can see the car still is not in great shape, but we will have to make do for this next session. And one thing that I wish the game would have told me earlier, I luckily still remembered doing that. You can also change tires in these service areas, and that's really important, because as you can see, our tires are already worn. It's shown there at the top. And we do have another set of softs. We would also have a set of mediums, and we also have rain tires. And I did take a look. I think I did cut this out here. There will be a stage in the end with rain, so these rain tires will be quite handy, but we don't need them yet. So far it's still quite dry for the start of our third stage here. And well, this third stage, I think I'm just gonna let it play out in the beginning here a little bit, so you can just listen to the co-driver calls and the car itself, and I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit.
50. 3 right, half long, tightens 180. 5 left, long. And 6 right, don't cut. To 6 left short, 70. 5 left short, and 4 right. Into 2 left short, 30. 4 right short, into slight left, 120, slowing. Slight right, and slight left, keep right, into 6 left, into 2 right, don't cut, keep in, 50, 2 left, tightens, 40.
So you can definitely hear the co-driver is quite fast with what he's telling you, and well, keeping up with all of that in your head while driving, I still find that quite challenging, and you need a lot of concentration for rally driving, but that also makes it really rewarding and really fun. But if you don't listen carefully enough, and this was a 3 left, well, then there could be a cliff, and then you could be off. Luckily we just went off kind of straight and didn't roll over or anything like that, so not much damage from that, but we were never able to get out of that on our own, so we did have to reset the car to the track, and that gives us an 18-second penalty. So this is something that will be very difficult to catch up. and well, we are here in the latter half of the stage, which did get a little bit more open and therefore a little bit easier, even though there are still some quite technical sections like this one. If you don't pay attention, and yeah, I very much wasn't, it's very easy to then be a little bit too fast, and once again I understeered, couldn't make that corner, and there was a tree there, obviously. So once again our front is quite damaged, and well, both the resetting to the track and now this incident with the tree really put us on the back foot for this section, and well, this whole section or stage of the rally event. Well, this was just insult to injury. I didn't see that there were some rocks there on the side. I thought I could do a little bit of a cut. Was not a great idea. My poor car, which isn't even mine, so yeah, it's gonna be quite expensive to repair this one in the end, I feel like. And yeah, you can see here I'm really struggling in the end, and once again that's both a combination of me not paying attention and also the car being damaged, and that makes it a lot more difficult to drive. So yeah, once again a stage that didn't go all too well here. So we are probably gonna drop in the running order in the whole rally series here. And well, with the time here, you can see that we only finished in P27. Even if we didn't or wouldn't have to reset, we still would have been behind first place by quite a bit. And well, this, as you can see here, puts us well, not so far down, but at least to P3 in the running order. And for our next stage, we don't have a service area. Our car still is damaged. So at this point I was like, okay, I really need to be more careful, taking it a little bit more slow, and then at least finishing with the car not even more damaged than it already is, and also, well, just not having a reset to the track or any other severe incident. That would probably be preferable. So my goal here for this fourth stage of this rally event was to, well, do exactly that, be a lot more careful. And this was also a stage, as you can see here from the beginning, that is quite twisty. And with a car that's so damaged and felt like it was understeering even more than it was already, I knew this was gonna be tough. But yeah, I just decided to take it a little bit more slow, a little bit more careful, and to hopefully get the car to the next service area, which is coming after the stage in, well, one piece and in the state that it's in now. And we are almost at the end here. Once again, a little bit late on the brakes and just touching the barrier a little bit. Wasn't too bad. And overall, this stage went okay. But our car definitely has suffered. You can also see on the right side at the speedometer, the red symbol indicates that, well, our engine is getting a little bit hot. And that's probably our radiator being damaged quite a bit. And, well, that's something we will have to fix for the next race. As I said, this stage here, kind of uneventful, so I did cut out a large portion of it. But I think for how bad the stage before went, it was good. So at least I didn't damage the car more, and overall I actually managed to eke out quite a gap here to the next guys. Not quite sure why they were this slow, and that means overall in the championship we are back in P2 and very close to P1. So there actually is a chance that we will be able to still win this championship, which that would be kind of nice. But yeah, as our engineer tells us here, we will have to take a look at our car and do some repairs. Sadly, this service area only has a 15-minute repair time, and that kind of put a wrench in things here. And I, in the end, decided to just do a quick fix on the radiator. That was all there was time for. So yes, our car still looks like that. It's not amazing. It could definitely have been better, but at least we will hopefully not have an overheating engine. And yeah, as I said, this will be a race where it's raining, so our rain tires will definitely come in handy here. I remembered to put those on. As I said, would be nice if the game reminded you a little bit more. But yeah, I just remembered in time, and you can see it's raining quite a lot, and I think the tire choice is probably gonna help quite a bit. So let's see what we can do for this last stage of the rally. And starting out, I already felt that grip was definitely worse, but it felt okay. I was always just trying to feel out what the grip level was by, well, yeah, trying to just wiggle the steering wheel a little bit, and that always seemed to help. You could see that I was struggling a little bit. I saw that there was a one right, but where exactly, if you have never driven a rally stage, it's always, well, at least sometimes it's a little difficult to know where you actually need to go, especially in those tighter, like square rights, lefts. It sometimes can be a little bit difficult to judge where you actually need to brake as well. And here I could feel the first time, okay, we are braking with a wet road here, even with the tires that we have on, is sketchy, and maybe a little bit of a setup change would have helped there. But yeah, once again, as I said, something I'm probably gonna do at a later point. But other than that, the car still felt quite controllable, and I just knew I had to take it as careful as I could. I think I was even using the handbrake here a little to get around these sharper corners. Something you can do. It's also something that's easily overdone, so I'm doing it very sparingly. I'm rarely using the handbrake, just, yeah, very sparingly, and I think that's probably good advice for anyone starting out. Yes, you can use the handbrake for these sharper corners, but only use it if you don't have any other option. And, well, that's something I'm trying to do as well. So let's once again talk a little bit more about what I was saying in the beginning. Why am I enjoying WRC this much right now? I think it mainly comes down to how this single player mode is structured. For every other game I'm playing, be that Forza Motorsport, ACC or anything else, it's mostly multiplayer that I enjoy. And that sometimes also can be very frustrating, so sometimes I just don't want to play multiplayer. And both those games, they do have a single player, but it's not fun, at least not to me. That's, I mean, I've talked about that in different videos on these different games. It's, for me, mostly down to how that is structured, and that there is no through line, no story. It doesn't necessarily have to be an elaborate story or anything. Just has to have something more than just random events that you could put together yourself. I mean, if you look at Dirt Rally 2.0 and the career mode there, that also wasn't great, I have to say. It was okay, but it also was just mainly different championships strung together, and, well, you could, I think, purchase different cars for later points, and were getting a budget that you could use there, but overall, this kind of approach, which EAWRC is taking, is way more fun to me. And we are, by the way, here almost at the end of the stage, and it felt kind of nice, and as I said, really enjoyable overall, even though we are not even driving the car that we set out to drive in the career mode, which is the Junior WRC. We're not gonna be driving that for a bit, because we are gonna first do some other stuff to, well, get our team together, get to grips with what we're doing here, and, well, become better as a racing driver. And as you can see here, I finished the last stage in first place, and with enough of a gap to actually overtake and finish the whole rally event in P1, which was amazing. I mean, of course, I'm only doing 75 AI difficulty. It's not that much, but still, this felt really good to me and really enjoyable. And since this is part of something larger, of the career mode, where I'm trying to build up myself as a racing driver and the team with my chief engineer, and then also will be able to hire different staff and other engineers to help boost what we're doing. That's super amazing, and I really like the format that they're taking here. And also that there is choice. Well, you have to choose between different things that, well, you can't do everything. So you will have to choose every week to, well, decide what you want to do. And, well, I'm definitely gonna continue playing this. If I will be doing more videos on this, that all depends on you. So, yeah, now it's up to you. As I said, I'm really enjoying playing this. Let me know if you also enjoy watching it, and if so, what you would like to see, and if I should maybe change some things, let me know down in the comments down below. And also, if you enjoyed the video and you made it this far, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But that's it from me. I've been HD Racing. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one.